The silent auction of your deepest regrets. Episode 5. The Buyer. He watched Angela move through the apartment like a person learning to walk again. She said the children's names out loud every morning, the way some people pray. She taped their names on the wall above the small table. Lily, Caleb, and under them, Angela. She said each name and waited for the world to answer. Most days, the world did not. Her phone buzzed at 6:11 a.m. A single message from a dot where numbers should be. The buyer will meet you tonight. No address, no name. Just a second message. You already know him. She did not move for a long time. Then she stood, washed a mug that was already clean, set it to dry, and left for work early because if she was moving, she did not have to think about the shape of the silence in the apartment. Outside, the city carried on like it always does when one family breaks. Buses sighed. A man argued into the air. A woman pushed a stroller with a bag hung on the handle that said, "Love lives here," in big soft letters. The day did not know her. At 7:04 p.m., she stood at a door she'd not wanted to see again. Eric Walters was on the buzzer, the name of a man she had once loved in the ordinary way people do. Hoped for him, shared bills, clipped coupons, learned the sound of his keys in the lock, learned the sound of his apology when the bottle swung his voice. She had left him 2 years ago for the reasons people leave. He had promised to be better. He had promised to show up. He had promised to stop breaking small things in the kitchen when anger needed a body. He had promised so much the word promise turned thin. She pressed the buzzer. The door clicked. He had been waiting. Eric opened 4B with careful hands. He had cut his hair shorter. He wore a shirt with buttons, tucked in. His smile was small, tired, practiced. "Angie," he said, "you look good." She stepped past him without answering. The apartment smelled like a new candle and last night's beer. 2 pictures of the kids sat on a shelf, frames too new, like props. One frame held an empty space, where a person might have been, the background slightly wrong. "You bought it," she said. Her voice was flat, like a line drawn with a metal ruler. "You bought me." He shut the door. He stood with his back against it like someone guarding his own bad choice. "I bought the pain," he said softly. "I bought the chaos. I bought the way they look at you and then cry. I bought the nights you couldn't sleep and they couldn't breathe." "You bought me out of them," she said. "I bought room," he said. "Room for them to grow. Room for us to do this right." "There is no us," she said. "You bought a lie and called it love." He flinched. He rubbed his mouth with his knuckles the way he always had when he wanted to be better and couldn't find the stairs. "They're calmer," he said. "Caleb's grades went up this week. The counselor said he made a joke. He never made jokes before. Lily sleeps through the night. They're calm because they are missing the part that hurts on purpose," she said. "They think pain left by itself. They don't know a man with a paddle paid for it." He looked at the shelf, not at her. The auction said it was a trade. Not a theft. A trade. "Who told you about it?" she asked. He hesitated. Then, "A man I met at a meeting. We talked after group. He said there was a place for people who want to fix what they broke. And you fixed it by erasing me." "I fixed it by taking the weight," he said. "I carry it now." That's how it works. She stepped closer. "Do you feel me?" Do you feel the first fever and the first word and the first bus ride? Do you feel the time I sat in the ER and signed your name because you were too ashamed? Do you feel the way Lily clings to my coat when she's scared of wind? Do you feel the way Caleb used to put his hand on my back when I coughed? Do you feel any of it? He closed his eyes. No, he said, but they don't either. She shook her head. You bought silence and called it love. He poured water instead of beer and set the glass carefully on a coaster as if coasters could make a man clean. They explained it to me, he said. I didn't go in blind. The auction doesn't explain, she said. It sweetens. They said, regret is a thread. Pull it and the memory comes with it. If I buy the thread, I hold the pull. If I hold the pull, the kids can breathe. And who holds me? She asked. He looked at his hands. I do, he said. She laughed once, a sound with no laugh in it. You never held me when I asked, and now you hold me when I am not there. He swallowed. We can do this right, Angie. We can write a new story for them. A story without the parts that make them shake. You can't write a new story, she said. You can only cut the old one and pretend the fabric still fits. He ran a hand over his face. The auction said there's a buyback, he said quickly, like a child offering a bandage after a cut. If the buyer and the seller both agree, you can restore some. Not all. Some. Her breath caught. What does it cost? He looked down. What we don't need. What you don't need, she said, stepping forward. Or what I don't need. They said it can be split, he whispered. Shared. She stared at him. He could not hold her stare. He moved to the window and looked at the street like streets can defend a man. There's a host now, he said. A new one. He runs our site. Name's Marcus. He'll listen. She closed her eyes. Marcus Hill. The text on her phone. The man who dreamed bids. The man who became the auction's face in a room that taught you to speak softly while you cut. Tonight, Eric said. Midnight. Where? He gave her the address. She left without saying goodbye. The warehouse by the river had learned new manners. A velvet rope like a joke. A man at the door who did not check a list because the building already knew your name. Inside, the same stage, the same candle, the same ledger. The leather now embossed with a small oval that said Site 7. And there he was. Marcus Hill, wire mask, gloved hands, voice like a calm explanation. Angela Brooks, he said kindly. Welcome back. She did not say thank you. She held her paddle under her coat like you hold a fragile thing that thought it was strong. Eric stood near the front with both hands behind his back, the way men do when they don't know what to do with wanting. He looked at her and tried a smile. She did not try one back. A woman in gray, the same woman who had once told a man named Darius to take the long way, stood near the ledger with a thin folder. Marcus nodded to her. She opened it and pulled out 2 small cards. Buyback hearing, Marcus said. Lot 23, the mother. Buyer, Eric Walters. Original subject, Angela Brooks. People in the room turned their heads just enough to show they were listening. Marcus tapped the ledger. State your offer, Mr. Walters. Eric's voice shook. I offer my anger, all of it. Marcus tilted his head. Define. The The kind that breaks plates, Eric said. Slams doors, scares kids. A murmur moved through the rows. Not judgment, interest. Marcus nodded. Accepted for consideration. And from you, Miss Brooks? Angela swallowed. I offer my certainty. Define, Marcus said gently. The belief I was always right, she said. The shape that made me speak too fast when patience was needed. The part that made me push when I should have waited. Marcus smiled, not unkind. Good currency, he said. He turned the ledger. The page wrote in neat strokes without his hand moving. Buyback petition. Lot 23. The mother buyer. Walters, Eric. Offer, anger, total. Subject, Brooks, Angela. Offer, certainty, partial. He looked up. There is a balance, he said. What remains must be paid. How much? Angela asked. Marcus's gloved finger traced a line the page had just written. Memory of your first year with the children. She stepped back like the word pushed her. No. Or, Marcus said, patient as if offering a second dish. Memory of your last year with them. Same weight. Same value. Eric closed his eyes. Marcus raised one hand. The room quieted. The auction does not force. It prices. Angela looked at Eric. If we do this, what do the kids get back? A thread, Marcus said. A strong one. Enough to find you again. Not all. Enough. Her hands shook. She put the paddle on the empty chair beside her, like laying down a knife before you decide if you still need it. What happens to the rest of me? She asked. It becomes tender, Marcus said. You can bid with it later. Or someone can. She stared at the ledger. She thought of tiny hands around her thumb. She thought of the first fever and the tiny socks and the way she had learned to count their breaths. She thought of last week, Lily's humming, Caleb's careful voice like someone learning not to wake a sleeping dog. She said, I will give you the first year. Eric flinched. Angie. I will give it, she said, if they get enough to find me. Marcus bowed his head slightly. Accepted. The gavel fell. The candle bent and straightened. The ledger darkened along a thin, pale circle. Angela waited for a pain that did not come. She waited for a tone of loss. There was only a small, hollow place that opened like a window in winter. She felt air pass through her, cold, clean, and carry something small away. Eric pressed his hands to his eyes and breathed like a runner. When he lowered his hands, his face looked used. Some stripe in him had gone slack. A kind of anger had left the room. Marcus closed the folder. The children will dream tonight, he said softly. When they wake, a thread will be back. Not a rope. A thread. Angela nodded and turned to go. Ms. Brooks, Marcus said. She looked at him. The buyer still owns the purchase, he said gently. He can sell again. Or he can keep it. Or he can ask for more. Eric's mouth opened and closed. I won't, he said quickly. I swear. Promises, Marcus said, are not currency here. But offers are. He set a small envelope on the table. Angela Brooks, in steady ink. For you, he said. She picked it up and left. That night, the city slept with one eye open. In a small bedroom 2 streets from the river, Lily dreamed of a kitchen table. In the dream, a woman sat with her and wrote a name on the wall and drew a heart next to it. In the dream, the woman's hands smelled like lemon soap. In the dream, the woman hummed the tune Lily hummed when she colored. In another room, Caleb dreamed he was small, and someone lifted him and said, "You are safe." And the words did not frighten him. He woke in the dark and did not cry, but also did not try to be brave. He lay there and let the quiet be a blanket. He did not know why it felt heavy and good. Angela woke before dawn. She stood in the kitchen and said their names. The apartment did not answer. The wall with the 3 names did not move. But the silence had a seam now. She could put a finger to it and feel it give a little. She opened the envelope Marcus had given her. Inside was a card. On one side, "A buyback is never the end. It is the next price." On the other side, "You will be offered a choice soon. The choice will not be yours." She put the card back in the envelope and taped it to the inside of a cabinet door where people kept medicine. She brought the children to a park in the afternoon because air that moves sometimes shakes truths loose. Lily ran. Caleb walked. Angela sat on the bench like a person waiting for weather. After 10 minutes, Caleb drifted near and stood with his hands in his pockets. "Hi," he said, like you say to a neighbor. "Hi," she said. "I had a dream," he said. "Me too," she said. "In my dream," he said, "someone sang." "What did they sing?" He shrugged. It wasn't a song. Just sound. Did it feel safe? He thought. "It felt like it wasn't my job," he said. "To make the sound." She nodded. Lily ran to the swings and yelled a word that might have been Mom and might have been more. Angela stood and pushed her gently. On the 3rd push, Lily looked back over her shoulder with a smile she had used 100 times, and only once now. "Higher," Lily said. Angela laughed. It came out right. Across the park, Eric stood under a tree, holding his phone like a coin he was afraid to spend. He watched the 3 of them, and his mouth trembled and then pulled itself straight. He put the phone away and left because he had learned something new. That being near and being allowed are different verbs. 3 nights later, Eric knocked on Angela's door. He held his hat in both hands, like a man in a movie who has run out of lines. "I won't sell again," he said before she could speak. "Even if it gets hard." "Good," she said. He swallowed. "I want to give something else. To push the thread more." "What?" "My father," he said. "All the pieces of him I keep in my pockets like rocks. The way I talk when I don't mean to. The way I reach for a bottle when I do." "The auction will take it?" she asked. "They will take the part that fits," he said. "Not the whole man. They said temper is good currency. It makes space for tender." She did not fight the small smile that came. "When?" she asked. "Tonight," he said. "Midnight." "I'll come," she said. They walked together to the river, because some roads get easier if 2 sets of feet try them. The warehouse door opened because doors in that place do not ask who you are. They ask what you brought. Inside Marcus listened. The woman in gray wrote on a small card. The ledger accepted the new offer and made a new circle. The candle bent and rose. Eric stood straighter after the gavel fell, like a weight had moved from one shoulder to the floor. Marcus looked at Angela. "Your turn," he said softly. "I have nothing left to trade," she said. "You have time," he said. "You have name." She shook her head. "Not yet." He nodded. "Not yet," he agreed. "But soon?" Outside, under a weak moon, Eric spoke like someone telling the sea a secret. "I didn't buy you to hurt you," he said. "I know," she said. "I bought you because I thought I was saving them," he said. "I was saving myself." "Yes," she said. "I still want to be better," he said. "Then keep paying," she said, "with something that actually belongs to you." He nodded. He put his hands in his pockets and stared at the black water like water could sign a receipt. "I think I saw him," he said after a long time. "The man who told me about the auction first." "Where?" "Church basement," he said. "Coffee that tastes like metal." He said his name was Derek. He said he got a box on his porch. Angela felt the world tilt an inch, the way floors do when an elevator starts. "Derek Jones," she said. Eric frowned. "You know him?" "Not yet," she said, "but I will." Buybacks are not miracles. They are stitches. They hold unless someone pulls again. Over the next week, the children looked at Angela more often. Lily reached for her hand without seeing it as a choice. Caleb asked her once if she remembered the time he lost his hat. And when she laughed and said, "Which time?" he laughed too, small and real. The thread held. Then a letter came for Angela. Not cream, not official. A piece of torn notebook paper folded twice, slipped under her door. 4 words in pencil: "Come alone." No paddle. No address. Just a hand-drawn arrow and Pier 17. She went because she knew how the world worked now. If you did not go, it came to you anyway. The pier creaked under her feet. The water made its soft old sounds. A shadow stepped from behind the pillar. "Miss Brooks," Marcus said. "You send letters now," she said. "Only when the ledger prefers quiet," he said. "What do you want?" He watched her without hurry. "To warn you," he said. "The buyer is not finished buying. Someone else has made an offer." "On what?" she asked. "On you," he said. "I thought he owned me already." "Ownership is not the same as use," Marcus said. "He bought removal." "Another buyer has offered replacement." Her mouth went dry. "Replacement with what?" "A version," Marcus said. "A mother who never left. A mother who never fought. A mother who does not disagree." "That is not a mother," she said. "It is a story," Marcus said. "Stories are what we sell when people cannot carry facts." "Who made the offer?" she asked. Marcus looked toward the city. "A woman," he said. "Your sister." Angela's knees went weak. "No," she said. She helps. She picks Lily up. She makes soup. She believes she is saving them from your absence by filling the space with herself," Marcus said softly. "She believes the house needs a shape. She believes she fits." Angela stared at the water until it blurred. Can she do it? If the seller agrees, Marcus said. Who is the seller? He looked at her. The seller, he said gently, is Eric. The world inside her chest folded. She went to Eric's door with no plan, the way storms go to coasts with no apology. He let her in because men who have learned one kind of door learn to open all of them. You can't sell me again, she said. I'm not, he said quickly. Then softer. I'm thinking. Thinking is the auction's favorite currency, she said. It grows interest. She says the kids need stability, he whispered. She says she can be there. You are there but not there. I am here, she said. I am still here. He rubbed his face. The counselor said a consistent adult. The counselor doesn't know about candles, she said. He looked up, broke, small. I don't know how to do this, he said. You do it by not selling what you don't own, she said. You do it by standing. He nodded, and she could see the nod might hold tonight and might not hold tomorrow. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She looked. A message from the dot. The replacement. A mother will be installed. Another, choose your price, Angela, or someone will choose it for you. She put the phone away. She looked at Eric. She looked at the shelf with the photos in frames too new. She took one frame down, opened the back, and slid her own picture inside. Not on top of anyone, not replacing anything, alongside. She put the frame back. Here is my offer, she said, standing in his doorway, so the hall light made a clean line across the floor. What? He asked, afraid. I offer everything that made me hard, she said, but I keep the parts that made me fight. I keep the parts that wake at dawn and write names on walls. I keep still. That's not how it works, he said. It is now, she said. He looked at her like a student looks at a test he thought he would fail. If I say no? She smiled without softness. Then I go to the auction and outbid your fear. I learned the room. I learned the clock. I learned who keeps the ledger. Marcus, he said. Marcus, she said. And Darius. And a woman in gray who used to be a mother and learned to be a knife. He swallowed. Okay, he whispered. Okay. They stood with the door between them, the way people do when tomorrow has already begun. Behind Angela, down the dark hall, a small shape moved. Lily had come out of bed. She rubbed her eyes and looked up at her mother and said a word that might have been Mom and might have been more. It did not matter which. Angela heard both. Back to bed, Angela whispered. And Lily went because some threads still know how to follow a hand. Angela stepped into the hall. Her phone buzzed one last time. She did not check it until she reached the street. The message said, New lot posted, lot 24. The replacement buyer. Pending seller. Pending subject. Angela Brooks. She looked up at the blank sky. She felt the world tilt again and stop. She put her hand on the wall the way she did when rooms change shape. She breathed in. She breathed out. Far below the hospital, a stamp came down. Admitted. In the warehouse by the river, a candle leaned and waited. In a drawer in Marcus's desk, a thin folder with her name slid 1 inch toward the edge on its own, like a book scooting closer to a hand. All sales are final. Unless you pay again.
Thank you for listening to The Storyteller's Moon. If this story touched you, scared you, or kept you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps the stories alive, and I can't wait to share the next one with you under the moonlight. Until then, may your nights be safe and your dreams unforgettable.